Come to Remora TC to trade like a shark and not get eaten by one. Let's school together to protect and grow our money. Hi everybody, it is Sunday, June 29th. I'm not in my usual location for my videos, so you can see that I'm going to do my best. Let's get right to the material. We've got 10 tickers. The price action in the past week has been as I have predicted. And so let's start with the SPY and review what I discussed. We've been discussing the possibility of all-time highs being retested, and you can see that up here in this zone right here. Okay. Now, I don't even have my mouse, so I'm going to be using this pen to help annotate. We can also see that there's plenty of divergence down here. So the bearish divergence down in the RSI continues to grow despite all-time highs. I'm just going to zoom in just to show you that the bearishness is there. So with that, the prediction for lower prices remains in play. I haven't changed that for weeks now. All you'll see here is I'm just moving my arrows over, just as price is moving to the right. So really, this red line that you see here, horizontal red line, this one right here at 612, is a zone of fighting between the bears and the bulls. So we're going to see that continue. And with this bearish divergence, I still feel the SPY will continue over the next week to break down, and the selling will resume. Okay? Switching to the triple Qs, you can also see in this one all-time highs. So I'm going to slide the annotation over. Okay, so we've reached all-time highs. And let's check here in the RSI if the bearishness remains in play, and it does. So you can see it right down there. You can see this spot over here. Okay, this is a high, and this is a lower high for the RSI. So it's like that. So with that, the prediction remains unchanged. Lower prices are to come. It's just a matter of when. And I think some of you might feel impatient that, well, perhaps you took profit and got out of your trade already. Okay, well then, good for you. You got out of the trade and you're protecting your position, your equity. I'm going to slide this over as well. This is the 200-day. And we've got the gaps down here too that are in play. So price prediction for triple Qs unchanged. It's just a matter of when. It's coming. Now this one line here, this, I'm going to make it thicker right there. Okay, that trend line. What we'll see is we'll see the price action come down and hit the trend line. And let's take a look on the hourly, if there's weakness in the hourly. Okay, so not yet. No weakness yet in the hourly, so perhaps slightly higher prices, maybe triple Qs will get to about, let's just make a quick annotation. Maybe triple Qs will get to about this zone up here to as weakness, as overhead resistance, I mean. So somewhere over there as overhead resistance before lower prices for triple Qs. But ultimately, not much upside. Okay. All right, so that remains in play. I'll go like this. Slide things over some. Okay, it'll bounce off the 200-day, move over. Okay. All right, I forgot to bring my mouse, so we're doing all this by hand. It's not as elegant Let's switch to the gold miners play. Gold miners play has played out as I had predicted. Mainly, the main thing that I want to talk about was the retest of this resistance. So this line here, this black line, thick black line, price came up on this candle here, which is June 26th, hit it, and you would have thought that it reclaimed it, but then look what they did on the next day. They gapped it down on the Friday, quite a bit, with a bit more volume. How much volume? 32 million shares versus the day before at 14 million, so double the volume on the sell side. So let's, I'm going to remove this. It's no longer in play. Get rid of this. There's a gap. You can see that. The gap's pretty obvious. Right here. And I think what will happen is, like maybe we'll come down, hit the trend line down here before coming back up to perhaps fill the gap. So maybe price will come down, hit this trend line. So not much of a big move down. There's no play here because if you haven't already taken a position, you're not in a good risk reward location for either direction. Okay, I'm going to slide this down like that. All right, so if anything, if you were to take a trade, the trade would be on the short side right here at resistance. So when price comes back up to the top part of the gap fill, maybe a little bit beyond that, take the short and play it down to this thicker black line down here. Play it down to this one down here. Switch the color real quick. Yeah, so play it down to this, all the way down there, okay? All right, so I'm going to delete that for now. Switch to MicroStrategy, Bitcoin play. Bitcoin play did exactly what I predicted, was it would come back and hit the overhead resistance, the trendline resistance here, this one right here. And it did, okay? And then you can see that it then got rejected off of this red line, off of this red line here. Okay, you can see that on the Friday with a little bit of volume, additional volume. So further selling to come on MicroStrategy. Now the question is, would this be a good entry short? It's not, because you missed the trade. Let's see. This would have, it's about a 3% up if price were to move back up there versus, well, the first target would be here. Yeah, so you're right in the middle. I wouldn't take the trade here. But if you would have gotten it anywhere along here, then good for you. Okay. All right, but in general, lower prices for MicroStrategy. I expect it to at least get to the 200-day, and then even further down to the 308. Let's switch to Microsoft. You can see here that Microsoft has continued to move upward. And I didn't expect that. In fact, back here, back in this zone, I already thought that price would begin to fail. But instead, the price action continued. And it's continued with a burning through of the bearish divergence. So down here, the RSI, you can see that the momentum indicator is now no longer bearish. Okay, it's now just following with the price action. I'm not convinced that this move is a bullish move. So I'm not signaling to any of you that the momentum has changed. I'm not. But I am monitoring this. So the question is, will price continue to move up and hit this as resistance up here in this zone? That's what I think would happen. And then we'll have to see if the RSI is changing on the hourly. Okay, there's a divergence in RSI movement. There is some. Okay, now that we zoom out on this, there is some. And you can see it here like this. Make the annotation real quick. You can see it down here like that. But that's on the hourly, and I'm not going to tell you that the selling is starting right away. It's just slight momentum loss in the hourly. So there is still a possibility the price will come up and hit this trend line up here. Okay, somewhere up here. All right. I'm still convinced the medium-term move for Microsoft is lower. Okay, so from up there down here, it's about almost a 9 or 10% move downward. If you had taken the trade long here or stayed in the trade, you're up, all right, 6-7%. Long if that's the direction that you were playing. But still, I think the more objective play is to the short side. I'm going to just slide this over. My prediction is still to the downside for Microsoft. It's just a matter of when. Okay, let's switch to NVIDIA. NVIDIA play is behaving as expected, at least from the video from Wednesday. The same behavior of burning the RSI is down here. You can see this, I circled it. So I'm not convinced though that the momentum has changed to the upside, but it is right into resistance up here. You can see it. Okay. Still, I wouldn't recommend a long on NVIDIA. I still believe lower prices, okay, for NVIDIA and Microsoft. Okay, let's switch to Tesla. Tesla play. All right, this one's been playing out as I had been discussing how this gap box here has been in play. Now you can see on this day here, on Wednesday, was a second big red candle coming down. On the Thursday, price attempted to reclaim this black trend line, okay, this diagonal one here. And then you can see on the Friday that price is basically at the bottom edge of the gap fill. Question is there a change in momentum? There isn't. It's still to the downside. So I see it, perhaps they may play it up to here this week, hit the top edge again before rejection. So maybe it'll go up, hit it, and then further downside. Okay. Yes, it'll come back to the 200-day first. I drew this downside a long way because that's the ultimate longer range move. But it'll do the 200-day first before it comes down to this 309, before it comes down to the 274, bounce around, that type of thing. But longer range down to the purple trend line. Okay, there's no momentum change for Tesla. You can see it here back in this mid-May timeframe down here. But the signal, there you go, there's the shark up there. The signal has been for a bearish move. Okay, switch to Palantir. Palantir also behaving as expected. Nice big red candle. I talked about this zone over here the past couple of weeks as a fighting zone, and I really thought that this annotation here in red would be resistance, but in fact price action was using it as support for about a week, and then finally the momentum to the downside, it was too great, and the sharks are beginning to sell. You can see it. It's a big sell day, 200 million shares, whereas all the other days were at about less than 100 million. Okay, 70 million, 58 million, etc. Anyway, further low prices, of course. So now what's going to happen is it's going to use this as resistance. Price may come back up, bounce its head on that, and then continue to move downward. Okay, so Palantir to the downside. That's the main move. And then to the one long play that I've been talking about, I'm in this trade, and I talked about how it was a really good entry. Now, I also discussed how these candles here, that there would be resistance here. That would be the likely play. And the question was, and if you watch my video, I said I might ride it out, play it, stay in the trade even though it would hit this red line resistance. And it hit the resistance, and I stayed in the trade because my risk tolerance is that way. I wasn't going to get out of the trade. And if I was going to, I would have taken half the position off. But instead, I stayed in it, and now the Friday price action is all the way up there. So right now, I'm up about, I think my entry was 176, average entry. So I'm up about 15%. So the likely move, and I'm going to stick with it. Let's delete this guy real quick. So let's move that. Likely move is price will bounce around a little bit and then fail, come back down. It may hit this trend line down here, and then before it resumes its upward trajectory, because that is the overall movement. Okay, so I think it'll be something like this. So hit that top edge, come back down, hit the 200-day, and then from there continue its move. Okay, that's kind of the move. If you can get an entry here long, this would be a good entry down here, anywhere along this trend line. That would be a good long entry. So if you're able to follow along, great. Either from an educational standpoint or from a trading standpoint, this is a good long trade. The overall long-term move for it, perhaps a couple moves. You can see here I made the annotation up to the purple trend line. Okay. So that would be a 30% move up to there. Yeah, so that is Dick's Sporting Goods. All right, so not many long trade opportunities right now. Most of the trades are to the short side, especially on the tech sector. We'll keep monitoring it, and let's see what happens. So please like, subscribe, give me a thumbs up, share my material with your friends and family. Give me a comment, and good luck with your trades. See you next time.